Hi guys, Ben from My Cycling Coach. I hope you're doing well today. So I just wanted to have a quick chat about warm-ups for FTP tests today. Having a lot of conversations about this recently, and a lot of people have been saying how they feel that the FTP warm-up they're doing is just way too hard, and that they do the warm-up and then by the time they actually get to the FTP test itself, they just feel fatigued and like the legs are already completely blown. So I've asked a lot of the times, okay, so what are you actually doing in the warm-up? And they're saying that they've got like time in threshold zones, over 5 minutes in the threshold zone as part of the warm-up, dropping in and out of the VO2 max zone, coming back down into tempo, maybe then back into the threshold zone. And I'm just like, well, no wonder you're feeling like the legs are completely fatigued already before you start the test, and that you feel like you're blowing, because this is just way too intense for that warm-up. You're just adding loads of unnecessary fatigue before you then actually go to start your FTP test. Now you might be finding this as well. And what I just really recommend with the FTP test is you obviously want to be making sure that you're performing a real thorough warm-up, and you can do that by doing 15-20 minutes. Just start out in zone 2, aerobic zone, spend a bit of time in there and then just work through that zone to the top end of that zone. Then go into the tempo zone, do the same there, just work through your tempo zone and time it so that when you eventually get to the top end of your tempo zone, that is when you then start your FTP test. And by doing that, you would have done a real thorough warm-up. You know, you don't need to be going into these really high zones like anaerobic zones, threshold zones, VO2 max zones for long periods of time before you start. If you feel like you need to do a bit of high intensity efforts before you start that test and you want to do this, then you know you can maybe do a bit of go into the threshold zone for maybe a minute, but I certainly wouldn't be going into it for any longer than that, because as I say, you're just adding unnecessary fatigue, which is then going to have a detrimental effect on your test results. So yeah guys, I've been speaking to a lot of people about this lately, and I wanted to share that today because, you know, it's we want to get the best results from the FTP test, but if you're smashing yourself up in your warm-up before you're even starting, then you might not be seeing the results that you want from that test. So yeah guys, if you found it useful, please drop a like on the post. Feel free to follow, share, subscribe. And as always, if you found this useful, please just drop a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Have a great rest of your day and speak soon.